Hello everyone, and welcome back to Turkish Spotlight Secrets. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next big reveal. Today we're unpacking the story everyone is whispering about, the unexpected, electric, and very deliberate pairing of Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel. What started as a murmur in casting corridors has snowballed into the most talked about collaboration of the season, and the timeline behind it is full of hints, code names, and carefully managed silence. Settle in, because we're breaking down how we got here, why the industry is holding its breath, and what the next moves could mean for both stars. First came the unconfirmed sighting, two sleek black cars pulling up to a discreet production office after dark. No red carpet, no entourage crowding the doorway, just a tight security team and a courier clutching a sealed script envelope. That single night triggered a week of speculation. Was it a chemistry read? A contract signing? Or a quiet creative meeting where directors pitched different tones and worlds? The only thing that seemed undeniable was the presence of Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel inside the building, and the decision to keep that meeting off the books. Within days, online fan communities had already built timelines, frame by frame. A studio assistant's Instagram story, since deleted, showed a table strewn with coffee cups, two sets of colored highlighters, and a printed document with the working title blacked out. The title block, though redacted, revealed just enough to spot a codename used by a well-known production house whenever a high-stakes project is in development. That detail alone sent algorithms into overdrive. Suddenly, hashtags with both actors' names were trending not only in Turkey but also in markets where Turkish dramas consistently top streaming charts. Italian, Spanish, and Brazilian fan pages began posting side-by-side edits asking the same question. If this isn't a joint project, what is? The producers, notably, stayed quiet. Silence is a strategy, and this one has been deliberate. No poster. No teaser. Not even a line like "talks are ongoing." Yet silence tells its own story. Behind the scenes, two parallel tracks often run in these moments. One is creative, script pages being revised, potential directors sending vision statements, costume and production designers sketching aesthetic directions. The other is logistical, calendars, insurance, brand deals, international pre-sales, and the labyrinth of scheduling that comes with two stars at the height of their demand. Every move is choreographed, and that polished quiet hints that something significant is being protected. If you followed their individual careers, you know why the possibility of pairing them has set off fireworks. Directors who've worked with Barış describe a rare precision, an instinct for pacing a scene and calibrating emotion that makes even a quiet moment feel loaded. Crews who've shot with Yağmur talk about a magnetism that cuts through the lens. Even in candid interviews, the two have projected a mix of discipline and warmth. When they've crossed paths at press events, the smiles looked unforced, the glances natural. Those tiny cues don't prove anything about their personal lives, but they do foreshadow on-screen synergy, the kind that converts a good series into an event. Of course, the genre question hovers over everything. Is this a grand romance, a modern thriller, a period epic, or a genre blend aimed at international binge audiences? The chatter has touched on all of the above. A romance would capitalize on their undeniable charm. A thriller would showcase their dramatic intensity. A period piece could let the production team unfurl lavish sets and costumes while tapping into global appetite for historical storytelling. The fact that no one is confirming the premise tells me that genre is being wielded as a weapon. Keep it unknown, and the speculation machine stays hot. Let's talk about the business chessboard. In recent seasons, international platforms have built fast lanes for Turkish series to travel the world within days of their local premieres. That pipeline has been a game-changer, turning regional hits into global conversations. A project anchored by Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel is the kind of title that pre-sales teams dream of: big names, international curiosity, and a social footprint that practically markets itself. Executives know this. If contracts are being negotiated, they won't just be about per-episode fees. We're likely looking at profit participation, back-end points, and sequel options to lock in momentum. The romance debate, naturally, refuses to die down. Did those shared laughs on a talk show couch mean anything more than professional ease? Were they spotted at the same restaurant by coincidence or design? Fans will cling to every clue, but here's what matters for the project itself: the perception of a spark can be as powerful as any official statement. Producers don't need to confirm anything if the audience believes the possibility exists. It's the oldest marketing truth in this industry: the audience's imagination is the most efficient publicist. For those worried about expectations spiraling out of control, remember that pressure cuts both ways. High anticipation can buckle a project, or, handled with care, it can harden a story into something unforgettable. What eases concerns here is the precision with which the rollout is being managed. The absence of random leaks. The discipline around press questions. The choice to withhold even a generic logline. That's what it looks like when everyone from agents to line producers agrees that patience is part of the creative vision. Speaking of agents, there's a pattern to watch whenever stars of this caliber are circling the same project. First, you'll hear about a hold on their schedules, temporary blocks set aside for a potential shoot window. Then you'll see brand deals rearranged, not cancelled but reshaped around production days. Wardrobe stylists start pulling mood boards that nod to the palette of the rumored series. Composers quietly pitch theme motifs without calling them themes. And one day, as if it were nothing at all, a location scout takes a casual panorama from a rooftop that just happens to capture the exact neighborhood where set construction could happen. The puzzle pieces never announce themselves. They simply click. There is also the question of tone and risk. If the project is an original concept, it signals a bet on the actors' names and a bold story. If it's an adaptation, it means the producers want to leverage existing fanbases while allowing Barış and Yağmur to reinvent familiar beats. Either way, the stakes are high. A misstep could waste a moment when attention is peaking. A breakthrough could redefine what premium Turkish television looks like for the next 3 years. Let's rewind to those rumored late-night meetings. One attendee described the atmosphere, off the record, as focused and calm. No grand pronouncements. No dramatic showdowns. Just a stack of pages, a room of people who have done this 100 times, and 2 actors who understand their leverage but remain anchored in craft. If that snapshot is accurate, it bodes well. Flashy marketing can generate a weekend of noise. Steady craftsmanship builds a season of conversation. Fans, meanwhile, have turned into detectives. They're counting matching bracelets in separate photos, comparing interview phrasing across different outlets, and examining set rumors with the zeal of forensic analysts. Some of the theories are wild, others land uncomfortably close to likely truth. What matters is the energy, because that energy translates into watch-through rates, social clipping, and, ultimately, renewals. The industry might speak in ratings and revenue, but the engine behind both is community, and the community around Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel has rarely been louder. So where does this leave us today? With a timeline that feels designed to tighten like a violin string. First, whispers. Then, meetings. Next, perhaps, a single still image, no context, just the 2 of them in character, eyes locked, a background that suggests era and mood. After that, a 30-second teaser that reveals almost nothing new but confirms everything people have been hoping to believe. And at the end of that teaser, one word: soon. Before we close, I want to emphasize something every viewer should keep in mind. Gossip is a game of shadows, but great work leaves footprints. If this collaboration is real, and all signs suggest it is, its proof will be found on screen. Not in dinner photos, not in coded captions, but in the scenes that make us forget we're watching actors at all. That's the bar. That's the promise. Now it's your turn. Do you want to see Barış Baktas and Yağmur Yüksel in a sweeping romance, a razor-edged thriller, or a lavish period saga? Which director would you pair them with, and what kind of soundtrack do you imagine underscoring their first scene together? Drop your best pitch in the comments, because the producers absolutely track the heartbeat of the audience. And if some of your ideas end up aligning with what's actually being made, remember you heard it here first. If you enjoyed this deep dive, help the channel grow, like, subscribe, share this video with a friend who is counting down the days, and consider clicking the join button to unlock exclusive behind-the-scenes breakdowns when the first official materials drop. This has been Turkish Spotlight Secrets, following the clues, connecting the dots, and staying with the story until the curtain finally rises. Until then, take care, and I'll see you in the next video.